Well, the reason Joe Thomas is here tonight is because of food. True story. And we shared the table many times. We've got great stories. None of them were about football. We would sit for hours drinking wine, 7-course dinners, really enjoying each other's company. And that's why Joe is here. And Joe's had a great upbringing. He knows how to camp. He knows how to hunt, fish, and be that all-around outdoor guy. So, Joe Thomas, Hall of Famer, step on up.
Here you go, Dad. Yeah, perfect. Oh, beautiful. It looks great. I know, it fits perfect. All right, I'm on the clock. Got the Hall of Fame Farms Wagyu Bao Bun here on lock. I'm working. Don't bother me when I'm at work. We ready, Chef? That's right. We got this on lock. Now the most important
I've always
part.
tried to be perfect at everything I've done,
Just what you want.
and I've been very fortunate
We're gonna love these.
in the athletic
You know what,
space
hit 'em.
that I was a good athlete, and I always gave everything that I have, and I was able to accomplish the highest of highs from an individual standpoint in the game of football, being a first ballot Hall of Famer as a left tackle. So now moving into farming, where people throughout the country are tasting the beef that I'm raising out here every single day. It feels like a lot of pressure because there's a lot of expectations from people when they try Hall of Fame Wagyu, when they try Hall of Fame Farms products, that it's going to be perfect. But that's a lot of pressure because it's pretty hard to be perfect when you're raising an animal. And I feel like I'm putting my reputation on the line as somebody who's always been the best at whatever they've tried to do, because that's a high bar for people, especially somebody that has never farmed before. He bought his farm in 2012 and have only been raising beef for about 7 years. One of the greatest things that I've been able to do with Hall of Fame Farms is to put on my service hat and to be able to take some of the beef that we're raising and donate it to great causes, to be able to raise money for amazing events like the Hiram House and the summer camps that they run out there in Ohio. That's really special to me because that just reinforces the whole reason that I'm doing this thing in the first place. Because one thing I know is, at least in the Midwest, the thing that you can do to show somebody love is you can feed them. If you feed them a great meal, that's like the ultimate sign of how much I love you. Come sit at my table. I've got this beautiful meal prepared for you. That's me showing you my love. It's the same thing that I'm trying to do here. Come, eat some Hall of Fame beef. Eat Hall of Fame Wagyu, and if you love it, that'll make me the happiest man on planet Earth.
Process of getting the beef to the quality that we have is a big time commitment, and that is done by the help of everybody. You know, it's just not one person that's making all that happen. It's long days, early mornings, late nights by the whole team to make that happen, whether it's getting the fields ready for the crops to go in or mowing hay on Memorial Day, you know, to be able to get it in before the next rainstorm. You know, like, there's a lot of sacrifices that happen here with everybody to get everything to the way we want it. Your family doesn't see you very much. You come in the dark, you leave in the dark. When Joe was looking for a farm in 2012, he was looking for a farm in the Driftless area, and my cousin was his realtor in the process. And when he found the old Sinichka farm, he asked my cousin if he knew of anybody local that could help kind of take care of a few things for him. And
He was living in town in Muscadet. He'd grown up on a dairy and a beef farm. So he knew everything there is to know about farming in the Driftless area of Wisconsin. I could trust him every single day that he was out here, because at that point, I was still playing in the NFL and I wasn't going to be able to be on the farm as much as I wanted.
so I started in May of 2012 when Joe purchased the farm, and been with him ever since.
He has more to do with the way that this farm looks and operates right now than anybody else times about 10.
The condition of the farm was in not very good shape. It was very run down, a lot of old buildings, a lot of old trees and shrubbery and stuff.
Because this was a working farm in one family for more than 100 years, there was a lot of buildings, there was a lot of things that we needed to clean up.
So our first task was to just start tearing barns down. We took as many of the barns and buildings that were usable for reclaimed lumber.
I had a contractor coming out that was helping recycle some of the old buildings that had fallen down and just were left in the same spot. But unfortunately, there's a lot of little rules that not many people know about. And if you hire a contractor to do a job to clean up some trash and clean up some old buildings that had fallen over and recycle some old wood and old metal, you got to get the right permits. And if they don't get the right permits, Mr. DNR with the tall hat and the badge is going to come and pay a little visit. And that's actually what happened in 2014. I'm coming off the practice field after a hot and sweaty practice, and I see there's 20 or so members of the Cleveland media waiting for me at my locker. Even though I thought it was unusual, I wasn't concerned. So I came to my locker, and immediately all the members of the media started asking me about the environmental disaster that was happening out on my farm in Wisconsin. And they read the letter that had come to me, which I hadn't yet received from the DNR, of all these violations that apparently were happening on my farm that I knew nothing about.
If it was just the average person that did that, it wouldn't have been a big deal. But for Joe, who he was, they blew it out to be a big deal because of his popularity in the NFL.
And really all it was related to was the contractor that we were working with did not get the right permits, basically. And so unfortunately, the way it works when you're somebody who's in the public eye, you're gonna get accused of something before there's a trial. And in this case, the DNR had written me a letter with basically outlining all the violations that the contractor had made, including one which was
the navigable stream deal. We built a little nice landscape setup right on the stream as you come in and made a nice waterfall.
There was a tree that we had put across the ditch back here so that the kids could walk back and forth without getting their feet in the ditch and getting wet. And that's technically considered a bridge. And the fine for building a bridge without a permit is $10,000 a day. Technically, according to the law, it was filling a wetland. It was making a bridge across a navigable waterway or a stream without a permit.
And they deemed that was a navigable stream that we then had to tear everything out, when really a rubber ducky could barely float down the stream on any given day.
It was at that point that I understood there's a lot more to this farming than most people realize. And if I want to make this farm work, I got a lot to learn.
One thing I know about turkey hunting is you can pretend like something always works, but if you're doing that, you're a damn liar, because 90% of the time, what you think is gonna work doesn't work. And 10% of the time, what you think has no chance, all of a sudden the turkey just pops out of nowhere right in front of your decoys.
So usually that first part of March into end of April has been the time frame for calving. End of April, first part of May is all crops go in. And then following all the crops going in is hay and harvest and baling of that.
That's a really important time of the year for us because it's essentially like the NFL draft. You need to figure out kind of what you need for the upcoming season. You're checking on the equipment, making sure everything's in order.
Just checking calves. You thought those NFL sleds were big. Should have come worked on the farm.
Our weather was awesome. We were harvesting some grain that was still left over in the field from the year before that we'd left standing, so that the deer had something to eat and the turkeys had something to eat. Calves were on the ground. We were moving the sticks a lot. It kind of felt, with the weather being awesome, that there was nothing that could stop us.
This is Dave for Muscadet Fire and EMS. Muscadet Fire and EMS, you're needed south of town, the intersection of County G and Ridge Road. County G and Ridge Road for an excavator that is on fire. County G and Ridge Road for an excavator on fire.
Went through the normal, cool down process or shutdown process for the excavator. You just, obviously you deactivate your hydraulics and you let the machine idle for 5 minutes. And somewhere in that time frame, I heard a pop, if you will, a snap. And I immediately got a whiff of something, and it was like in my lungs. It was so stinking sour. Nope, no bueno, out of here. So I shut I just killed the switch, jumped out, and before I knew it, I looked back and I could see a flame coming out through the undercarriage, and within moments she was engulfed. Joe was kind enough to give me this opportunity. Here I am, not even 4 months in, and I'm torching a $250,000 Caterpillar excavator. It felt like crap, man. And you can sit here and say you're sorry all you want, but he knows it was a mistake or that it was an accident. It wasn't anything was, there was no controlling it. It happens. I thought that was my last day working for Six Spring Farms. I really did.
It's probably been one of the most costly deals on the farm. Luckily, there was insurance on it, but luckily, Favorite Caterpillar was able to bail us out and get us a rental here to finish what we needed to do to get ready for the fences going in on the property that we're going to turn into cattle pasture.
So thankfully, Tony made it out alive. That's more than a lot of people can say when they're involved in a farm accident. But we got lucky this time, but now we had to deal with a charred excavator that looked like it was being used for a burn pile.
Surreal, I love that machine, and now we got to trash it and send it to the scrapyard.
Tony is a huge part of the farm team out here. He runs our heavy equipment. He's in charge of our big property management projects. He's in charge of a lot of the restoration projects. And he's a new addition to the family. He was actually my buddy from Ohio. I used to go duck hunting with him all the time when we were out in Ohio. And
I sent him a text asking him if he wanted to come out on a goose hunt, and he replied with, he was too busy on the farm and could actually use me out here, ha ha ha, I need some help. I'm like, well, funny you mentioned that.
I'm laid off for a little while with the union. You got any work for me? And I said, absolutely. We've always got work out here for you, Tony.
So January 26, here I am. I pulled down onto Stednichka Road, and I'll never forget seeing that rock for the first time with the logo buck on it. I'm like, legit, all right. And all of a sudden the lights you could see from the, what they call the shop, I call the big house. I was just absolutely blown away. I had to pinch myself. I couldn't believe where I actually was at that moment in time in my life. I've never told Joe this, and only one other guy, maybe two other guys on the farm have heard it, but I found out about Joe Thomas when he got drafted because I was actually at work for a contractor at the time, and my dad was actually excited about this guy that the Browns had drafted. So he called me to tell me all about this guy that went fishing with his dad instead of getting drafted. And to be honest with you, I didn't give a fat frog's rear end because I had work to do, and my wife and I had just had twins, so I didn't really care too much. But long story short, that was the only guy my dad ever called and told me excited about that the Browns had drafted, and it wasn't but a few months later he had actually passed away.
What is he doing? What is he doing?
Yeah, we definitely run into problems all the time. But we've been really good about, we get over it, you know. We push, you know, no matter what we feel about each other any day, we put it aside.
For the most part.
Sawyer is more reliable because he's more available. I have a child and a wife, and they make it a little bit harder to just drop everything and run.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it.
You're really bad at setting the door.
It's too high.
Moving cattle from the barn to pasture, it all starts with, I think, planning ahead.
How do you want to do this?
I don't know.
We've done a pretty good job of building corrals, building fence setups so that you can get animals into a certain area, sort them out, make them easy to load.
Come on, Caius, come on.
If a cow doesn't want to be where they are, they're going to push gates, they're going to knock gates over, they're going to get to where they want to go. And you get 3 or 4 that's drag here, 3 or 4 that's drag there, and then it just becomes a chasing game to get them back to where they are.
Sorry, they're just escaping. Whatever, figure out a way.
You didn't back the trailer up good. You got angled that thing.
So I think if you plan ahead, everything should go fairly smooth with the operation we have now.
Keep coming. I don't know where he's going.
Come on. We're only taking 8?
It's enough.
What?
Come on.
Come on. Come on.
Come on.
Come on, one more. I'll go pull it up. Come on, girls.
Really did a great job of planning that out.
My biggest fear this year would be for our calf crop. Wagyus are a very sensitive animal. Their immune system's less of a normal cow, and then also they're more prone to genetic disorders, recessive genes as we call them. So that's what worries me. We're almost through our calving. It's actually been really good in the totality of things.
We were checking cattle yesterday, and then we saw this one laying down, and then we thought that it was too young because we couldn't stand up. And so we bring it back to the shop to keep a close eye on it to make sure it's doing good. It's drinking good, but she's just still not standing yet. We think she was just a prematured calf that was not just ready to come out yet. So we're just gonna keep a close eye on her, and hopefully she starts standing in the next couple of days and then gets better. We don't know if she got like stepped on or not, or she just was born like that with her leg, but it's just the leg just looks like it's pretty weak. So we might put a splint on it and leave the splint on for a couple weeks to see if that helps her to be able to stand or not, but then hopefully that helps that issue that's with the calf.
He was blind in one eye. We think he's 80% blind in the other eye. Good hearing, but no eyes pretty much. He was probably 30 pounds, 35 pounds at most. And his right front arm, well, I should say both of his front arms they're not normal. It looks like he was
Born extremely premature.
Yes. So we picked him up, we got him back to the shed, and we've kept him alive so far. We've gave him a couple antibodies to keep an animal alive and surviving any way possible is pretty important. I would call it in my life at least.
Oh, we're gonna give it everything. I mean, besides the money aspect, the moral aspect, it's still a living being. We've had bottle calves before. They basically turn into dogs. So it's like, we're gonna give it everything we have to make sure that it lives.
It looks like we might have a little break coming here. The one thing I know, it's raining right here. It may not be raining over there, but it's raining right here.
So I played 11 years in the NFL as an offensive tackle. But when you're farming, we're playing defense against Mother Nature. And a lot of times Mother Nature is going to throw some curveballs at you. That feels a little bit like that referee that has that yellow hanky always falling out of his pocket. That doesn't make any sense. And he feels like he might be in the other team's pocket.
So some reports coming out of the Weather Center right now. Tornado warnings and watches really all over the map, threatening several states, Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Illinois. Actually, some listeners calling in from Grant County saying that they have seen some golf ball size hail in that area. If you're in Vernon, Richland, and Sauk counties right now, your best bet's to get to the basement, as those warnings should last the next 40 minutes or so. Then that's before another round of storms is set to come through.
I wasn't really concerned with all the bad weather that we had. We go through it every year, so it's obviously with tornadoes, that's the biggest fear. obviously, if a big tornado comes through and destroys your buildings, then you start completely over. That's a different story.
For the facility, or the Wagyu Resort up there, there was a tornado that was spotted probably 7 miles from the place and headed towards there. So we were prepared to open up gates and let cattle out. But we were ready for the rain to stop and all that constant storming because we had to get crops in the ground at that point.
The weather so far this spring has been a little crazy. Last couple weeks, it sounds like it was kind of sunny and warm for a little while, and then yesterday had a front coming through and just poured like crazy. What are the field conditions that we're kind of looking at right now, and is it affecting anything as far as like getting the crop ready? And
yeah, I think what we got, I mean, just walking through the field today, turkey hunting, if we get a little bit of sunshine and the way the wind's supposed to blow today, it'll dry. It'll dry. I mean, it might not be planting weather, but it's, I think, enough that we could get in and, get the rest of the fields cleaned up and shit like that and get some spraying done.
So after we were dealing with some tough weather early on in the spring, our excavator burns up. We're really needing something that's going to cheer us up. So good news is people love Hall of Fame Wagyu. And we got an opportunity to go up to TJ's Steakhouse in Oshkosh, Wisconsin at the country club to be able to pitch and sample some of our famous Hall of Fame Wagyu with their chef and all the big decision makers over there. I was hoping that it would make for a memorable experience, lift our spirits, and maybe, just maybe, get us a first down and get the drive started.
it's obviously a huge meeting for us, having me there, having general manager who runs the show at TJ's Restaurants, having the chef there doing a little sampling, I hope, because there's one thing I know, it's that when you put that Hall of Fame Wagyu in front of somebody and they get that first bite, there's no such thing as saying no. So we're hoping to just be there to support Fortune and the sales rep and tell the story and hopefully get some placement. The course looks beautiful.
South Hills and Fond du Lac?
Yeah.
Because I've been there once.
Yeah.
Mike.
Joe Thomas.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
Hi, Kristen.
How are you, Kristen? I'm Joe. Nice to meet you. How are you? Joe, nice to meet you. This whole thing started as an accident, I like to kind of say, because when I was playing football, when I got to the NFL, I really said, you know, I don't know what this NFL thing's all about, what's going to come of it. I have no idea how long my career is, but as a kid that didn't grow up farming and didn't have a place to go and hunt and fish and recreate and call my own, like, I just want to have a little piece of dirt that I can walk away from the game of football and just at least have that to my name, right? Was lucky enough, career went a little bit differently than that, and I was able to have more than just a little piece of dirt. So when I retired, my kids finally gave me enough of a push and said, all right, Dad, we got to get some cows out there, you know? The food that I put into my body was the fuel that I needed as a professional athlete to be able to go out there and do my job. So I was always doing a lot of research and always paying very close attention to what I ate. And in retirement, I had a lot of arthritis in my knee, and so I knew that I needed to lose weight. I needed to maybe even focus more on the things that I was eating, being even more intentional. And now I was responsible for 4 kids and putting food in front of them that I could be proud of, that was healthy, that was clean, that was going to give them the fuel that they needed to grow and be happy. And so I thought, hey, what a great opportunity. I could make my wife and kids happy by getting some animals, and I can raise my own beef and know what they're being fed and know how they're being raised and how they're being bred, so that they're some of the cleanest, highest quality beef that I can put on my kids' table and be proud of. And so right now, obviously in the country, with the demand for beef and U.S. raised beef and how the Wagyu world has become more popular and more well-known throughout the country, to try to now continue that passion project that started 10 years ago with, hey, a simple question: can I raise the best, highest quality, healthiest beef on planet Earth right here in Wisconsin? And so that's kind of where we stand today. It's been amazing.
The one thing that stuck out to me was the filet mignon, because, I mean, it's the most boring steak in the world. I've been doing this since I was 20, New York City, and I was floored by the flavor that came from the tenderloin. You would think, right? Yeah. I mean, it was just, I cooked my normal, regular, wet aged 8-ounce filet, and I mean, I would rather throw it on the floor. Like I'm serious. It was, and I don't like filet, and it was outstanding. But every piece that we had that we sampled that you gave us they were really, really good. This has a little extra oomph to it, is what I would probably say. Like my guys all tasted it too, and Jim and I were tasting, and they were all just like, wow, it's intense.
Chef Michael England, one of the most well-known chefs in the area, a famous chef that's worked most of his life out in New York, getting some of the best Wagyu on planet Earth from Japan and Australia and elsewhere. I wasn't really expecting that he would be blown away the way that he did, but we put our heart and soul into this beef. We do everything possible, everything imaginable to create the healthiest, best tasting beef on planet Earth. But I'm sure we're missing something. And so a guy with his experience, his cachet, to be able to tell us it was some of the best beef he's ever had in his entire life, that's not something you expect in a business meeting like that. You're kind of expecting that chef to be a little bit guarded, maybe say, hey, this is pretty nice, we'll get back to you. But I think it was pretty special and definitely warmed our hearts knowing that he couldn't hold back by telling us how awesome that beef was and how excited he was to be able to put it on his menu. My first love was football. My next love was cattle and beef, and I'm able to combine both of those. And to be able to go up to Green Bay, to the Packers, to the team that I grew up watching and cheering for, and to know that I can feed those players and those coaches some of the healthiest, most nutritious, delicious beef on planet Earth, it makes me feel a lot of pride.
You look great in the green and gold. You should come join our staff, man. Okay. What do you say?
Welcome, Joe Thomas. Welcome, Joe Thomas.